we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
I knew, I knew that was gonna happen. What's good, bro?
Hey man, it's Revenge of the Sith. What you doing for the day, bro?
Nah, Revenge of the Sith was yesterday, bro.
I thought it's the 6th.
Nah, May the 4th.
Revenge of the 5th, the
Yeah.
6th. Y'all killing me. May the 4th makes sense. May the 4th be with you. I thought if it's Revenge of the Sith, that the 6th would make sense.
No, it's Revenge of the 5th. Yeah, it's May the
But
4th.
what did you do for Revenge of the 5th?
I watched Tales of the Underworld, which was super, super dope. I'm a Cad Bane guy, bro. I love Cad Bane. He's like my second favorite villain. Because Vader is just kind of like, everybody either likes Vader or they like Palpatine. You know what I'm saying? So those are the standards. But when you just talking about, all right, take them off the table, you might get some people to say Maul. You know what I'm saying? But Cad Bane, that's my guy, bro. I love me some
Cad Bane is like the little boy with the cowboy hat, the rope.
Yes,
Yeah.
He's the bounty.
Yeah.
So you get
I think that for me, if I had to take out Darth Vader, it would be Darth Maul to me.
Yeah, and that's because we're getting more and more backstory of Maul. We're actually getting another series on Maul coming up, and the same guys playing. Sam Witwer is coming back as the voice of Maul, so it's gonna be fire. But yeah, Tales of the Underground and had Asajj Ventress, who was Count Dooku's apprentice, the bald head chick that was in Clone Wars. Bald head, okay, so you know who Count Dooku was, right? God. Okay. Do you remember? hold on. I'm gonna catch you up. It's real quick. I promise. You remember in Revenge of the Sith, right? In the beginning of the movie, and Palpatine was like, "Do it," and Anakin cut off that dude's head, the old man.
Maybe.
Okay. In the very beginning of the movie, Palpatine was captured, right? On General Grievous's ship.
Yeah.
Anakin and Obi-Wan went to go save him.
Right.
Obi-Wan got knocked out. So Dooku was fighting Anakin, and he was like, "Oh, you done got stronger since the last time we fought." And he was like, "Yeah, and I got more skills." And so they doing all the fighting, and he ended up with 2 lightsabers on his neck. And he was like, "I shouldn't do this because that's not the Jedi way." And Palpatine was like, "Do it."
Yeah.
That old man was Count Dooku. Well, Count Dooku had an apprentice, a bald head chick named Asajj Ventress. That's what the joint is about.
Okay.
Hey,
okay.
I just got way nerdy for the Slash Brothers, but
you know what though, man? I think it's still it's that day, right? It's a Star Wars day, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen. I think that you got you got to. To me, you can't necessarily tell me who the person is. You got to walk me down where they were and when I would have saw them. Though.
Oh yeah, because you don't even know who. You don't even know what Mace Windu's lightsaber looked like. You don't even know what color it is. And
I didn't know he had it.
He the only one in Star Wars that's got this color.
He has purple.
He does have a purple.
You talking about Samuel Jackson?
Samuel.
Yeah, see, if you can't see, if you said what color is Samuel's lightsaber, then I'd be able to tell you. But yeah, when you keep calling the names, the canon names, I don't know none of them.
Oh my gosh, bro! I would love to have you on a Star Wars trivia show just to ask you questions. That would be fun.
Well, listen, listen. Every time that I do a Star Wars trivia for the job, I call you on there though. So yeah.
I know, but it makes it so much harder because you have to relay the question to me versus me being able to see it and kind of like trying to recall it before all the other nerds pull it out.
Yeah, and you only have like 30 seconds too, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let's get this music popping off and get on it.
Let's do it.
If you smell what the rock Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms, and subscribe to our new TikTok page. We're live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys are doing their thing. It's Kennedy.
Hold on, bro. So we brought up we didn't bring it up, but it's in the intro. The Rock, dude. Did you see the trailer for his new movie?
You know what? I did. And listen, this is the one that he's the MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing that I can certainly appreciate about this one more than any other time, he doesn't look like The Rock.
He doesn't. He doesn't look like The Rock. This isn't a big, but it's A24, which are known for more smaller budget films.
Yeah.
They're focused more on story. So yeah, he doesn't look like The Rock. He doesn't sound like The Rock. And man, I'm interested.
Yeah. I think that the part that is interesting to me though, man, is like I said, if I didn't know that it was The Rock, I wouldn't know. Like to me, it's like this. And I think in almost all of The Rock's movies, he's The Rock to me. If it's I don't care if it's Moana, he's Hawaiian Rock, Samoan Rock. If it's Fast and Furious, he is Hobbs Rock. If he's in Jumanji, he is in the game Rock. I mean, he's always a Rock. This one, which is crazy because it's more so should be closer to what he's known for naturally, So I thought that. Now I was tripped out though, man. It doesn't look as recognizable to me as The Rock.
No, they definitely use some different prosthetics for the role. Obviously he has hair, which we ain't seen him have hair in a minute. But it's very serious. It's not pain and gain. So, and yeah, because he's more associated with professional wrestling, and the UFC is like a brother or cousin to that, even though it is real fighting, it still would be a role you would think he would take. So the fact that he's actually taking it seriously, and it looks pretty serious, I'm intrigued.
And now it kind of makes sense that if you follow The Rock, why he got super jacked up that for a little while, and now he's not slimming back down, but he's not as bulky as he was before, though, man. So, now, man, it looked dope. Yeah, it looks real dope.
What we got on deck for today?
Oh, this go, bro.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You got it.
I was just gonna say the trial started for Diddy. And
yes.
So, yeah. They're kind of in the jury selection process, which is very interesting. And they released details for his defense, which I'm not mad at. But they're gonna have a time picking the jury, and that's what I wonder how long it's gonna take. Because I've been on jury duty for federal, and you get jury selections quick. Like they got selected that day. So it's gonna be obviously a little bit longer for this case because this is such a well-known personality. So you have to, not everybody's gonna know who Diddy is. So it's gonna be a lot of gamesmanship and figuring out how they can best serve on the jury to meet their needs.
It almost has me thinking about the Lincoln lawyer and when they showed theirs about jury selection. That's kind of what I see happening here as well, though, to see what are your, biases and backgrounds and things like that, though, man. So I'm with you on that. I think that the part that I am interesting on, though, man, the part that I'm interested in the most is the evidence, right? Because like I said, I am very, very curious to see when they start naming names, right? And when these things become as part of public knowledge, the names, when you and I always talk about that court of public opinion, and I just wonder when the names start coming out, though, bro, what that to me is going to be one of the biggest moments in possible. I think it's going to be. It could go up there with like the OJ trial, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be TV because they're gonna probably make movies out of this after this is over.
Yep.
Everything. It is the high profile case for our particular for this generation.
Yep.
Um, but I mean, I just kind of want to know where this case is gonna go because I honestly, I'm gonna tell you, I thought they almost had an open and shut case in the beginning, starting to have holes now, bro,
Mm.
because it is gonna be, it is going to be her word or their word against his. And you know what I'm saying? With the defense that they use, the only part they're gonna have some problems uh, trying to prove is because he is in a position of power.
Okay.
But you know, if Diddy, because Diddy's basically saying, "Listen, I was a swinger, and this was all consensual." That's a very valid defense because
It's
it's
true.
there's nothing wrong with you being a freak. There's nothing wrong with the
Right.
amount of your freakiness.
That is the thing that I'm curious. So if you tell me, right, that he has like if you're basically trying to throw him out there like a RICO charge, I guess what I'm wondering is that, if you're saying like, let's just say if you're saying you got him for drugs or you got him for whatever it is, I just would be curious to know what are the criminal elements of this particular charge, right? Because I think that outside of that, though, bro, I think that even if there's no criminal aspect of this foul, I think just the details that they're willing to go ahead and do to make that they're going to have to do to at least make him look bad in public opinion. I think it's going to be one of those things that's going to be unforgettable, bro. But I just don't know how do you make unless they know something that you and I don't know. Like, how can you just say because somebody is a big freak behind closed doors, what's criminal about that?
The part they're gonna have to prove is the underage stuff, the paraphernalia stuff, because they're gonna bring up the drugs and stuff. So you gotta like who supplied it, where did it come from? They're gonna be more so trying to get him on the racketeering, the RICO, the sex trafficking. They're gonna be trying to get him on that piece, not so much the parties. The parties is just an added portion, but you gotta like the stuff about this person moved this person moved that. Uh, so that's where they're gonna try to go with it.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. I am curious though, bro, because like I said, the only things that I know about it, and we've talked about it to some degree every time when it first came out, right? We only know what's been put out there in news and what's been put out there for media. But I think that these details, though, once the details start coming out, it's like I said, when they start naming names, bro, I think that's when it's gonna get really funky then, bro.
But here's the thing, though. That's only gonna get funky on the entertainment side, meaning that like the the people, right? Like the podcasters, the TMZs of the world, all the
Us.
blogs, us, yeah. It's gonna be cool for the entertainment piece, but it ain't gonna really mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. Prime example: there's a person who's been associated now for years with this type of stuff, who we would think that would be masculine. And since then, nobody brings it up. There might be some minor jokes here and there, but it seems like his peers is back to talking to him, respecting him. In 2025, again, I know how you feel, but I'm saying in 2025, a lot of people don't care about that no more.
Who we talking about, by the way?
The White House.
Okay. 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 So this is the thing. I think that where this would be different, right, is Dwight Howard's was basically one person and maybe his circle of the people that he interacted with tried to basically out him, basically, though, right? I think that where this is a different scale and a larger magnitude is the fact that this could also implicate other people without Diddy actually being the person to initiate those implications. I think that's where this is a little different. I do see what you're saying. I just think that the way I look at this though, right, is that um once it's out there and it's public knowledge, I think that it's forever. And then I think that forever follows you longer. And while Dwight Howard might have the little snickers and the little side comments and everything like that, I think he always will. Even though I believe he's like engaged and about to be, married or something like that, though, bro. I still think that it'll follow you forever. And I just wonder the people that will be implicated, right? Will brands want to associate with those people once they've been known and associated with him?
But here's the thing, though. I completely understand 100% because you're basically comparing Diddy's list to Epstein's list, right?
The Epstein list.
I understand that. So let me just say I understand that and I agree. But I'm still going back to the case a little bit, right? The more names that comes out, it's going to be less fire on Diddy court wise because a lot of people is going to start shifting towards those names, especially if you get somebody who might be more of a bigger profile person than you would think, right? Because what we think of Diddy now with the allegations and everything that's already come out is what we think of Diddy now. I mean, he has become he is now a noun when we talk or an adjective or whatever, right? When you say somebody got Diddy or you be like no Diddy, like it's a thing now, right?
Yep.
As to where the new names now they have to endure the new shame of it all. So, and if Diddy's defense is not, I'm just a freak, and these people was partaking in what I like to do. That's his defense.
But here's my thing. I think that there's a reason why the Epstein Island list hasn't been listed out there, hasn't been publicly put. Not everything. They may have had some redacted versions of it. There may have been some assumptions about who's on there, but I think that there's a reason why. And I honestly believe, bro, that there are people on that list where I don't think that you recover from being on that list, right? And not even the fact that of his clients, right? The clients is one thing, right? I'm talking about the party list, right? And I think that that's where I think that the Diddy part, it's with you for life because just like if they release this list and of all of the clients that he had appeared at some of his parties as well and was on that manifesto, bro, I think that that's a different conversation because then you do look at them people differently and you start the disassociation, right? I think that with Diddy, it would be the same way. Now, legally, criminally, right? That might not be neither here nor there for him because at the end of the day, like you said, hey, I do freaky stuff. These people that came, if he has to confirm their names, right? All he can say is, yeah, they was there. But I think that the stain that comes along with it, it's for life, bro. I don't think you shake that.
No, I get that, but again, if that was the only thing he was on trial for, you don't go to jail. There's no jail time for that. They
Sure,
got to get
sure.
him on the trafficking, the racketeering, the RICO. Uh, they got to get him on the underage stuff. They got to get him on the paraphernalia.
It feels like they just threw this big net out there, bro, and just said, "Hey, we're gonna hope something stick. We're gonna throw all these charges against the wall, and as long as one of them stick, we good."
I mean, I get that, but I also believe that they wouldn't have brought this case up if they didn't have proper evidence.
But that's what I'm trying to take your usual perspective from this, and your stance usually is that I will wait and see what the evidence tell me.
Oh no, I'm still very much there because again, a lot of the things that we thought that they had solid on, a lot of that stuff is crumbling, and a lot of the cases that was presented against him have also dropped too. So think there's starting to be holes and stuff. So
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what they present.
100. Yep.
And I don't remember if they said this, but is the case going to be broadcast or is it going to be closed cameras or what?
Hold on. I think that these days, though, man, especially with the OJ trial, I think that a lot of that stuff will be public.
Okay.
And I would be very surprised if they didn't make it a public, thing. I think that they would probably have cameras there. I'd imagine it would be. And at a minimum, they would have reporters there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Speaking of legal stuff, let's just stay here. Shannon Sharpe, there's an update to the case. So when we last spoke, I said I don't believe he's coming back to ESPN. And lo and behold, there was another accuser to come out. Now, she's alleging that he forced her to have sex after she found out he was with another woman. He had asked her to leave her husband. Um, I don't know her name, I forgot, but basically they were in a relationship. Uh, he asked her to leave her husband, but he also said that he's still gonna see other people. She got upset with that. She came over. He forced her to perform oral and then began to do the other stuff, allegedly. And then she filed a restraining order on him. And then allegedly, Shannon sent people randomly, people started to know where she lived, which she had a daughter. So she ended up removing the restraining order. And she was somebody that worked for like CBS or something. And then one day Shannon was up there being interviewed for domestic violence stuff. And so those are the allegations, the new allegations that are out there. What you got to say about this?
I just don't want to sound like I'm victim shaming or slamming, bro. Right. But the part that gets me the most is when she said they were in a relationship. Okay, then at that point, I would look at it like this. They were in a relationship. So whatever the definition of their relationship is, they were in a relationship. So when you say that you were sexually assaulted while in a relationship still, it loses me altogether. Now, if it comes out that this chick had also tried to do a settlement with him or whatever, because this is my thing. I don't want to dismiss, you know what I'm saying, like the people who come out because they feel like empowered by somebody else coming out and they say, "Oh, I can go ahead. I'm gonna me too. This same thing happened to me, right?" But bro, if she ever tried to put a settlement on him, to me, I lose support of that only because I would question the timing of this one though. That's always my thing. And like I said, I don't want to seem like a victim shamer or victim slammer.
No, no, no,
But
no.
when
They asked her in the interview. They said, "Listen, I'm just gonna be honest. A lot of people are gonna ask, what took you so why you didn't file before? What took you so long?" And that's what prompted her to talk about the VPO, and also she talked about that Shannon basically allegedly told her that I know people in the police department and everything. So she felt threatened that if she went and did something, that she was in fear of her life. So that was the answer to the question that was asked to her. I did listen to the audio of her interview. I will say, from what I heard, there's a lot of holes in her story, but I wasn't there. And that's just what I heard based upon audio.
it feels a lot like a your word against mine. If we were in a relation, and I don't know how you dispel one or the other. Like if you're basically saying, bro, no, this is somebody who I was in a relationship with. For regardless of if she was with somebody else, if she was married or not, though, right? It's saying like, okay, so he made you come over to his house, right? I'm assuming that's what it is. So she, after you say you was done, he made you come over and link up. She made you go ahead and give him the Lewinsky, right? And then like, bro,
Well, the thing for me is this is the big part because she says, "I don't remember if I left my husband or not," or she said something to that. Like, I don't remember if I got out of that previous relationship. All I know is I didn't like the fact that he was still sleeping with other people when we were supposed to be in a relationship. So That's the part of the story that's just like real gray area where it sounds like, again, this sounds like somebody a jump off. It don't sound like it was. That's what it sounded like to me.
It sounds like a scorn jump off, bro.
But again, I
I don't
have
want to, and
trouble.
like I said,
Yeah,
I don't want
no,
us to
we
feel like
just
we bashing this woman, no, bro.
nope.
But I'm just saying, based off of what I'm seeing,
We're just basing
uh,
everything off of what is presented at the moment.
yes.
Other
Now, if
evidence
that
come out,
evidence changes,
yes,
so
then
too might my opinion.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
with that being said, I just don't see Shannon coming back to ESPN, bro. He was probably gonna have to nightcap it and club Shay Shay it, bro.
I'm gonna think. I think that he is gonna be on there. And you know what's crazy? This is the one thing that is wild, though, bro. Um, I was watching ESPN the last week or so.
Yeah.
Feels it don't got the same little umph that I think that Shannon Sharpe brought. I find that Stephen A is having to be more extra to make up for Shannon Sharpe's strong opinion and everything. And it feels almost like, bro, like you might feel that way though, bro, but you ain't you that level of animation isn't called for unless you're trying to kind of counterbalance Shannon Sharpe not being there though, man. I don't know, bro. But I'm gonna hope though for Shannon Sharpe that he actually slides back on over there,
No,
bro.
no, no, no. I 100% hope he's back because again,
Mhm.
I feel like when you reach some level of fame, you're gonna receive also that level of criticism and optimism of trying to take you down, right? And so, or opportunity to take you down. So, with that being said, this more bullets are gonna come towards him, even if he was to get past this, right? The more famous you get, the more people, because people can sue you for anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I meant when I was saying that there are a lot of celebrities sometimes just to not have the noise, they just work it out.
Hey, so listen, just as a quick FYI, for any sponsors that are interested in linking up and doing business with the Slash Brothers podcast, we have no history of essays. We don't have nobody coming out of the woodworks. I can assure you that we don't have any essays, whether they're written essays that are due. We don't have any of those essays. We don't have we don't have none of that. Just an FYI, if you were interested in doing those kind of business with us, though, we're pretty safe.
Yeah, we pretty safe. But
We ain't clean, but we pretty safe.
hey man, what else we got on the
Oh my
docket,
god!
bro?
Listen, we got to talk. Oh my gosh, we got to talk about playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. And listen, I couldn't wait because before we get into the recent loss, unfortunately, the Thunder, we got to take a step back.
Okay.
Okay, so we already got into um, we got into the Lakers losing right to the Wolves, right?
We got to spend some time on that. We got to spend some time on the Lakers.
Yes,
Just a moment.
let's talk about that. Let's
Okay.
talk about that.
So,
Because it's a little different now, right? But let's talk about that.
so since the Lakers lost, I have a question for you. There's a report that came out that said LeBron James either tore or ruptured or something to do with his MCL. MCL.
MCL.
Okay. Did that come out because they lost as an excuse? Or did he legitimately tear his MCL and would not have been able to play if they won and moved forward? Because there's another tweet that came out that said he wasn't going to be able to attend the Met Gala due to his recent sustained injury and that his wife was going forward in the steadfast to hold down the James family. So my question to you, is this a legitimate, because this your GOAT. This is your GOAT. So is this a legitimate MCL tear that would have prohibited him from continuing in the NBA playoffs? Or is this a PR move as an excuse for why the Lakers are no longer playing? What say you? Because this your go.
Okay, listen, man. I'm gonna keep it a sec. I think that that is a very legitimate take, a very legitimate question to be asking. Like, is this just PR to give him an excuse for losing? Right. I think that LeBron James has lost in playoffs before, so I don't think that it's an excuse, right? Because when you think about it, though, right, even with him having AD, they've been losing, so I don't think that it's just oh yeah, LeBron James is just looking for an excuse. Because what was his excuse last year? Or that we didn't have a big. The excuse before there. Listen, if you don't win it at LeBron James's level, they're gonna say, "Oh, what was your excuse?" And no, and listen, for that matter, I can't think of any other player where people hurl on these kinds of conversations outside of LeBron, and it's always relative to the GOAT conversation. Like you just said, without you purposely meaning it, you said this your GOAT. So what
Well,
they do?
but it's
That
that's
little seasoning that people put on that conversation, though, man. But I don't think to answer your question is no, I don't think that it's a PR move. I don't think that he just magically after the game they showed him limping. And if even if he wasn't able to play, if they won anyway, though, man, um, people would have had something to say anyway, though, man. So I'm not mad at it one way or the other. But the short answer to me is I don't think that it's a PR move. I don't think it's an excuse. No.
okay. So you think it's legit? So do you think now was he going to play through that if they won, or do you think he would have been out? He would have been medically uncleared to play.
Listen, man, if you sprain your MCL, there's no way you're playing on that. There's no way you're playing on a sprained MCL. Bro, I think that I've only seen one. Who was it that sprained? No, they came back from the MCL. I saw Terrell Owens play with his foot broke. I've seen. I don't know how you play basketball, bro, with a sprained MCL. So no, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna do it either way.
Well, and some MCL sprains or tears you don't have to do surgery for.
Yeah, but you got to sit it out. It has to. You got to naturally heal up. So I don't think he would have. I got another question for you though.
So
In lieu of them losing, now LeBron James has a player option, which he'll likely opt into, right? And Luca is right now on deck, scheduled to go ahead and sign this massive contract, right? And then the question that they presented to LeBron was that, hey, are you going to be out here on the tour to recruit Luca to sign his contract? And LeBron James said, hey, it's not my responsibility to convince him to sign his contract. My question for you is that do you think LeBron James do have some responsibility to recruit Luca to sign with the Lakers?
no, because this is the thing. Luca wasn't the problem for the Lakers. He played a part in his lack of defense, but that's a Luca thing. The Lakers knew that because that's how he played in Dallas. The reason why it's not his, the reason why LeBron is saying that is because he's putting pressure on the organization. Like, bro, the reason that we got killed out here by JJ making us play the whole second half because we ain't got no other people. So y'all
Which,
worried about
which that's something that LeBron's been saying for some years now, even back dating to AD,
right.
right?
But
Okay.
now he's in a position when it's time for him to renew his contract, he gets more power with that though. And it's like, bro, what are y'all gonna do? You got two superstars that have that option of doing something. What are y'all gonna do with the rest of the squad though? Because they gotta do something. Even if they came back as presently constructed, and mind you, we know that they had a trade that didn't go through that was rescinded of a player that they thought was going to be a key for the future and a key for right now that got rescinded. So the organization has to make some sort of moves in the offseason because everybody, like the new move, the new wave for the NBA is to have a good starting five and a good bench. You look at the top teams. Cavaliers got a good bench. OKC got a good bench. Uh Boston got a good bench. The elite teams have people that can come in and have minor to no drop off when the secondary units come in.
Let me tell you something that's interesting. This is just a whole side nugget here. I think that one of the things that's interesting is that the cat Mark Williams, right? Who the Lakers tried to get, who
Physical.
failed his physical. Okay, did you know that dude, so Wimby is what 7'4", right? And he has like this 7'6" wingspan. So, or 7'5" wingspan. Did you know that Mark Williams has a longer wingspan than Wemby. He's probably about 7 foot,
I'm
but
gonna
has
be
a
honest.
longer wingspan.
Didn't even know who Mario Williams was until the Lakers drafted him.
Damn, you still calling him Mario? That boy name is Mark.
Him too.
Listen, listen. I knew that I knew that he had, I knew that he had hops and was tall when I saw him grab Trey Young's floater at its peak out of the air. Right, tucked it in, started a fast break. So that's one thing. But I think that it would have been different. Here's my thing. I'm looking at it twofold. I understand that LeBron James is putting the pressure on, but I look at it two ways though. I think that LeBron James should try to get Luka to go there, to try to be like, yo, bro, this is what we gonna do. I'm gonna put some pressure on them to do this, that, and the other, whoopty woo. But in the end, I think that LeBron James should be trying to recruit him because at the end of the day, while the Lakers won the one championship that some people still question, I think is still very legit. I think that with all things considered, the Lakers have tried to do right by LeBron James. They've drafted Bronny. They've been trying to shake up the combination to put shooters around him. They've been trying. Now, don't get me wrong, they've missed on a lot of these attempts, but they've been trying, right? I think that I don't look at this Lakers front office the way that maybe the Cleveland front office looked before he went to Miami, where they just wasn't making. I mean, they wasn't doing enough. I think these guys are trying though, right? But the thing that I think that really makes me mad when people talk about LeBron James in this regards, right, is because then it goes back to the GOAT conversation. It's like, well, you got LeBron James and Luka, shouldn't that be enough? And I just don't think that that's realistic when every other team in the NBA isn't constructed like that, though, right? And so I think that when you look at that, even if the Lakers got to the finals, right? Do you think that the Lakers, as constructed, would beat the Celtics if the Celtics get there, right? As constructed.
No.
Okay, if the Lakers as constructed, do you think the Lakers as constructed would beat the Knicks? I don't like the Knicks, but I don't think that, and this is not what I don't like the Knicks as an organization because I just don't like the Knicks. That this particular team is very well put together, right? They like you said, they got two all-stars. They got a potential borderline. They have basically three. You can almost legitimately say that you can count maybe 4 to 5 guys on the Knicks who could potentially be all-stars, right? And so when you look at that, I don't think that the Lakers are constructed this year to be a contender. The question that if I'm Luca, well, when the hell are y'all gonna construct a team that's gonna be suitable? Because if y'all didn't with AD and LeBron, and now you're telling me that I'm gonna have LeBron on one more year guaranteed, then when and what is going to be the plan to put somebody else around me that post LeBron? Like if you're telling me LeBron's going to recruit me to come over and he's handing me the baton to say take the reins because I'm gonna be out of here, then what's going to make the Lakers then any differently from Luca being with the Mavs? Right? It's like
Well,
I don't know.
let me answer a couple of those questions. For one, the advantage that the Lakers has is one, Luca has already come out and said that he is going to resign. It's just
Okay.
which option is he going to sign? He can do a 4 year for two something, or he can do 3 years for one something. And he'll probably do the short term because then he can sign the real big deal after the 3 year. In 3 years, he could see how they decide to build around him. The other thing is the reason why the Lakers are in a good position because the Lakers can offer him the most money. And he was
Sure.
going to sign the super max with Dallas. So that's why I think it's safe to say Luka will be there. He's starting to like LA in the city itself anyway. But those questions, yes, I can understand him having those questions. But here's the thing, it's pressure on the Lakers anyway, because regardless if LeBron is there or not, the Western Conference is steadily getting more packed and stacked.
Who do you pair with Luca? Let's think about this though. If next year is LeBron James's last year, right? Who do you pair Luca with, right? Where
Ready for this?
it's gonna be who?
You ready? Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Ooh.
The Bucks are slowly or have shown they're not in a position to win anymore. Nobody's scared of the Bucks. If they're not, if it ain't the Bucks themselves, if it's not the coach of the Bucks, if it's not just the team, you get bit by the injury bug. I mean, Dame came back and then he gets his Achilles. So Giannis is too still in his the so that's why I say Giannis.
Giannis, see, this is the thing about it. Giannis gives me Russ vibes when it comes to trying to stay one team down. So I think that Giannis would rather Luka come to him than for him to go there. Because again, I look at Giannis like he's the number one option, bro. And I think that history views him in that regards. If he go and joins another team and he's not the number one option, bro, it would make me look at him differently, bro.
But the difference is Giannis has the personality to demand to be the number one option.
I can see that as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's already won the championship, I think that makes him more of a made man, right? Versus him doing a James Harden, who we're going to get into. So I don't know, bro. I don't, to be honest with you, I can see Giannis in LA. I would have loved to, if he was going to do something like that, I would have wanted to see him do that like 2 years ago, though, bro.
I mean, I get it, but you just you put me on the spot. So that was who because I know the rumblings are started on, and I mean, you know, this is not gonna happen. This is not gonna happen. But I would
Sure.
love to see KD, LeBron, and Luka.
Man, listen, bro. Listen.
That way
The
KD can be a
KD,
number 3 if he wanted to.
yeah, and KD average. KD gonna be then the best number 3 of all time because he gonna average about 30 points though, bro. And he gonna do it shooting maybe 12 shots though, bro.
But I'm just saying,
I don't know, man.
that's another option that's available. But I really do believe the smoke and the fire when it's talking about Houston, especially we will get into it because of the fact that Jalen Green out here 7 points.
Let's
You know what
talk
I'm
about
saying?
it.
Okay. So Houston did exactly what the analysts said was going to happen. They believed that if Golden State, the best thing for Golden State to have done was to go in the play-in tournament and win that way. That way that they would go in to the Houston side versus going through the OKC side because they believed matchup wise that they would be able to beat Houston, which was the 2 seed. And sure enough, that's what happened. Jalen Green was just outside of one game was just non-existent. You can't be the guy scoring 7 points, 9 points. They had no answer for Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler was, playoff Jimmy. Draymond was out there. He was all in. What's my boy's head? Oh my gosh, can't think of his name. Sengun. He had that man shook, bro. Van Vliet was was the only one that had anything for Golden State.
Van Vliet is a dog, bro. I like Van Vliet a lot, though, bro.
Yeah. He I mean, you see why they brought him over from the Raptors because I didn't understand that at first why they was willing to pay so much money for him.
They paid him a lot too, boy. He got a bag to go. And maybe it looked like it back then, right? That it was a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Now it's pretty normal. But here's the thing I think that is interesting though, bro. I think that the obvious play is Jalen Green. Like I said, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, and a draft pick for KD, and that should get it done, right? I just don't know. And is Nurkic still with the Suns by the end of the year, even though they tried to trade him all them times? If you do throw him in there too, just for old time's sake.
I think Nurk went over there to.
I don't know where the hell
he went. I thought he went to like the Kings or something.
I don't know, bro. But I think that you got like at this point though, right? This is the thing I think that's interesting. Is that even though we both said that Kevin Durant is a number 2 player, right? I think that in the end, what Kevin Durant does well is get you situational buckets, right? And so I think that that's clearly what they were missing. They were just missing consistent scoring, right? And I think that Jalen Green showed you that he does have flashes. And maybe he'll be that, right? Maybe he'll be where he will always get you them numbers. But if you're telling me that right now you see that out of nowhere you have a championship window based off of the roster that you currently have, if you make some tweaks, unfortunately, I like Jalen Green's athleticism, though, bro. I think that he has off the charts athletic abilities. I think that you gotta go ahead and get him out of there, though, bro. And Jabari Smith is just like, I think the part that's with Jabari Smith is that because he, I believe, comes off the bench, he's not dropping 18, 19. You got to get him in there too. And then they may even trade Cam Whitmore, who I like a lot. But Cam Whitmore plays behind Jalen Green, so he's not able to showcase on a consistent basis what he has as well. So if anything, though, man, I thought that it would. I don't know, but them the three guys you got to give up, though, bro.
Yeah. And by the way, Nurkic is at the Hornets. I did know that because I seen him in the uniform. But yeah. I Houston has to make some moves if they think that they are ready to start trying to win now.
Yes, I agree. If you think that your window is now, especially with you being a number 2 seed, that means that your window has to be 3 years. You got to see it. If not, though, you back there in the lottery to me, though, man. And so if that number 2 seed really means something to you, then to me, yeah, you got to go ahead and you got to say what it's going to take to get KD out here, though, bro.
And then I'm wondering too, because Steven Adams' contract he'll be a free agent this year, and he played extremely well. Are they going to bring him
Bring him
back?
back. Got to get you the OGs out there. You got to listen. You got to have that. You got to have somebody who, in anticipation that you have to run against Joker in the series, you got to have the body and the big guns just in case. So, right? I think that you still have to have somebody that you can at least keep Rudy Gobert off the boards, right? And to me, to be quite honest with you, I think that those are the two only big men that you have to really worry about. Like AD is there in the West, but I can live with AD giving me 30, right? I'm comfortable with his kind of 30. I think Joker's 30 is a little different because his 30 is going to come with 10 assists and it's going to be playmaking 30. So I think you got to run back Steven Adams, though, bro.
If I'm Houston, I would bring back a healthy. I would get a healthy Marcus Smart.
You know, it's funny. I just completely forgot about Marcus Smart, and I think that is a good option. But I mean, him and Dylan Brooks are kind of one and the same, though, man. So
they are, but I'm just saying, veteran dogs who you don't have to pay a whole bunch of money to surround around this still young nucleus. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I get it. But the Clippers also lost. And listen, bro, listen. I think the part that got me about how the Clippers lost is how the Clippers lost. Okay. Right? I think that I've never seen in a game 7 a team so uninterested in winning a game ever in my life. I don't think I've ever and I could be wrong. And like I said, I try not to be a prisoner of the moment and fall to recency, bro. But I don't remember seeing a team just get blown out so fast in a game 7. Bruh, listen. The part that I'm not surprised by is James Harden. It was game 7. So I knew what James Harden was going to give me in the game 7. He's done it before. He was consistent and true to himself, though. I was surprised at Kawhi's performance, though, bro. Very minimal. But how do you come out that flat, though, bro, when you know it's all or nothing? How do you just come out there with no regards to urgency, bro?
I don't know. In a game 7 at that, right? It's just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I loved Russ dunk and getting the technical.
Yes, on purpose.
I loved it. I absolutely love it. And you know, it the fact that he played with them boys last year, right?
Yeah.
And they was like, yo, this who y'all wanted out here? Like, no. Listen, them boys got out there. It looked like it was we were talking about 100 being versus one gorilla. Well, this looked like 100 gorillas versus one man, though, bro. They was dogging them boys out, man. 100 gorillas versus one man was how I would summarize that game, though, bro.
Yeah, that boy Russ was going crazy, bro. Uh,
Hey,
and
somebody,
go ahead.
no, somebody said that that boy was James Harden was playoff Jimmy.
They said that boy was playoff Jimmy Harden.
Playoff
Basically,
Jimmy Harden.
yeah, a light version of playoff Jimmy, basically. That's crazy, bro. That is some sick work, bro.
That was so good though, bro. That was so that to be playoff Jimmy Harden is better than when I heard someone, I think it may have been Skip Bayless calling him James Harden. And they took
Oh,
the D out his last name because he don't play defense. He don't play no D. So they was calling him James Harden. Playoff Jimmy Harden sounds it's way worse though, bro. Golly, that's so good. That's so good, man.
that's real. That's oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah, yeah. But the Thunder Boys lost last night.
Yeah. So let me let
Last
me
minute
let
game winning
me
shot.
yeah let me the crit. Okay, so I obviously live in Oklahoma City. I'm obviously a huge fan of the Thunder. We know that. So I've had the opportunity to talk to several different people, and I've seen some discourse online. And so what I've seen most people say was they put this one on Mark Dagnall for playing the foul game toward the end of the game, right?
Mm,
Um, here's my take on the game. No, we shouldn't have lost that game, but we did. Okay.
okay.
But again, glass half full. That's the way I am. Our shots weren't falling, and we still were very much in control of this game. Shea Gilgis Alexander looked like Shea. In the first series against Memphis, he did not look like SGA. We just had other people that stepped up, which you need. This
Right.
series, he looked like Shea. He got all his spots. I mean, they had a perfect game plan for Joker. Joker's gonna get his points. We already know that. We just try to frustrate him a little bit. Who we don't want to catch fire is Jamal Murray. The thing is this, and we don't rush to get hot, not even in the sense of points, but energy. Like
Get the
Russ is
energy
infectious.
going,
Yes, he's infectious.
especially in Oklahoma City.
Exactly. And he was the catalyst to winning that game. His pass, he could have been the old Russ and try to pull up. He passed and set up for the assist to win the game. I told people in Oklahoma, the key to us winning is not Shea. The key to us winning is J Dub. If he doesn't play well, we won't win. He was the key to us last year losing to Dallas. He did not have a great game. So if our shots are falling, if we play the same type of defense we played last night, we keep the same game plan, we are going to be fine. This is a wake up call for us. This loss made us, number one, we lost at home, and it's the first game. It made us feel what we felt last year when we lost to Dallas. And
Mm.
the Thunder is a team that does learn from their mistakes. I do believe I know people are gonna say, oh, the too much time off thing. No, no, stop. We had too much time off when we played Memphis and destroyed them the first game. So I'm not even taking that away.
I mean,
I'm
listen, and not just that though. The too much time off would be one thing if they played sluggish. Their shots wasn't dropping. I don't think that that has to do with time off, right? And the fact that they were winning, and it was a game-winning shot as well, though. So I'm not gonna give them that either, though, bro.
but at the same time, our shots weren't falling in the Memphis series. The difference in this team versus last year is we used to when we lived by the three last year, it killed us. Whereas this year,
Yeah.
if the three isn't falling, we move to the mid range, or we gonna get our fast break points off the defense. So if we can keep that up, we're gonna be fine because Denver's not used to that type of defense. They're good. Don't get me wrong. I told you from the jump I did not want to play Denver. But if we beat Denver, I don't see anybody else stopping us from making it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. I think that the biggest difference to me is that I think that in the end, I think that Oklahoma is equipped to be very comfortable with guarding guards, great guards. I think that Ed Edwards, I think that they, not to say that they can guard him, but I think they can live with that. But you brought in Hart, right? You brought in the guy, you brought in some guys for this, though, right? So I think that I agree with you on that, though, man. I think that it's the Nuggets just make for a different kind of matchup with Joker specifically though, man, with how skilled he is and with him being your catalyst, your facilitator though, man. So I don't know. I think that it is the first game. I think that they can bounce back as well. I think that you definitely got to take maybe the first game in Denver. You take that game back and then you get everything back in order. Even if you go back 2-2, I think that you gotta yeah. I don't think that OKC can go down 2-1 though. I think I don't think you can go down 2-1 because I think that once you go down 2-1, I don't know, man. It's just part of that whole experience thing to me. Like it sets in, and Oklahoma City, they're ready. I don't think that they're not the young boys no more. That was 2 years ago. I think that they're here now. It's just a matter of how does your experience play against this team's experience, though, bro. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, but definitely, bro. Uh, Denver was the team that I was nervous about, just because I would have preferred to play the Clippers because they are capable of having the type of fall aparts that they had against Denver. So that's why I wanted to play them. But Denver, they have championship experience. They have some dogs over there because Aaron, you got to be careful about Aaron Gordon. You got to be careful about Michael Porter Jr. You definitely got to be careful about Jamal Murray. And then you got to be
Yeah.
careful about Russ's energy because he produced, and then Braun is okay. But he might get you 10, but Joker is gonna get his. We just have to frustrate him a little bit. That's what we got to do because he gonna get
Yeah,
his.
yeah, I think so too, man.
Yeah. So I wasn't. It was that initial disappointment, like we lost, but I didn't get nervous. Like after I saw them play Denver, and I'm like, okay, they are not afraid. These boys is out here playing like we've played all season, and we have the rotational guys with the experience that have been playing all year because we use a deep bench, unlike most teams. We use a deep bench.
Thanks. And I like that they've stayed true to themselves. Like they
Yes.
didn't switch it. Like some teams went like the Lakers went 5 and the whole fourth quarter. I think that they're saying no. We've been riding this wave. We're gonna go with it. So I looked at, when I looked at the box score, I saw that there was a lot of people that clocked minutes in that game though, man. So it was like 10 players clocked minutes that game though. So yeah.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this though. For this Golden State Warriors, man, who do you expect to win? Golden State and Wolves. I'm sorry.
This is tough for me because I never count out Steph Curry, but I don't count out Ant-Man. Okay, but if I have to choose, I'm not gonna punk out. I'm gonna say Golden State, bro. I still think the Timberwolves just don't have it yet. Like I think Ant-Man is the guy, but he can't do it by himself. And I don't think that Gobert
Mm.
can get him over the edge. I don't think Randall is consistent enough. As much as I love who used to play for the Jazz, now he play for him, left-handed shooter, point
Mike
guard,
Conley.
Mike Conley. He doesn't make
Yeah.
enough of an impact like that. And I love Mike Conley. He's very consistent. They don't have the guy outside of Ant-Man that's got the juice, right? And I think the X factor for Golden State is not even Steph Curry. Steph Curry's gonna get his. It's Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler gets out there Jimmying, then I don't think Minnesota will have a chance.
So I think that Minnesota, how well Minnesota's going to do is going to be contingent on on Julius Randolph, right? If Julius Randolph get off, because he's played okay, right? But it hasn't been that big impactful. I think that he's done a great, and I'm saying that to me, I think that he's done a better job on every other aspect of the game outside of just the scoring, though, bro. So I think that, like I said, I'm with you, man. I just think that even then, I think the X factors of both series, Jimmy Butler and Julius Randle, because I just think that Julius Randle, it's like every time, this is the problem I have. When I have the expectations for him in the past, he's always fell flat. So I'm gonna say because of that, though, man, I'm gonna go. I can't bet against Steph. I just can't. I just can't bet against Steph. And again, I like, bro, that the Warriors, because people thought the Warriors were done. And even when they won the last championship they won, people thought they were done the 2 years before that. So I like where the Warriors are though, bro. And it wouldn't surprise me, bro, that if it was the Warriors, Thunder, Western Conference Final, and I think that would go to Game 7.
No, I don't. Nah, that part I don't agree with. I don't think it's going to 7. But I do think I do see that as the matchup though. The Thunder and Golden State, but nah, not going to 7. Nah.
Games, I think it's gonna go to 7, bro. I think that it's gonna go to Game 7, man. I could totally see it. I'm not, because to me that means that I think that would mean that even if you thought that OKC was gonna get there, that means that there's gonna have to be at least one game, maybe 2 games, where they just smoke with the Warriors. Like the Warriors, I just can't see the Warriors going out in 6 games, 5 games. 7 to me is where I think it's gonna be at.
Okay. Trying to think. Anything else significant? Oh, all of the top teams lost because the Cavaliers lost, Boston lost, and the Thunder
Yeah,
lost.
yeah. Yeah.
And then
And that's the thing
yeah,
about it to me. It didn't, this is the thing. I think if anything, I was more so surprised that Boston lost. And I think that that's the one thing, once you're coming off of that high of, when you're coming off that high of winning the way that they did, I could see that continuing on though, man. But listen, the Celtics were up by 20 points and they choked the game away. You don't have there's no excuse for that. So I think that's the one that was the most surprising to me was how they lost. The Cavs, I think you and I talked about this online. I don't know what my expectations are with Darius Garland not being in the lineup there, right? That
right.
makes a difference to me. And so I think that for that, I'm not as mad or as surprised that they lost. As you go further along, the competition gets more competitive. And if you don't got all your guns and the other team does, then you're at a disadvantage though. So that's my take on that one, though, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I hadn't watched the Pacers game all year, so I really didn't take them serious. I know they got some people over there, but I'm just saying it. Like Halliburton to me is very streaky. Like some games he can go
Yeah.
crazy. You know what I'm saying? To where he hit that amazing shot at the Bucks over Giannis, or other games where he's looking like Jalen Brown. You know, what I mean Jalen Green. So it's just like I don't know. Maybe he's more consistent in the playoffs because I haven't really watched any Pacers games. But it so that shocked
I,
me.
um, I think that the part that, like I said, it has been surprisingly, I think that he's been more consistent in the playoffs, which is what you'd want to see than in the regular season. In the regular season, like when I saw him the year before, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense why they wanted him to be on the Olympics team. But if you watch him play this year, you were like, what the hell was he doing even on the Olympics team? Because he was a little bit above mid. I don't even know if he made the All-Star game this year. But no, I can at least respect that he stepped up his playoff performance though, man. Yeah. So now, man, you put out a champion though, man. So that's no small feat to me. I put stock in that though, bro. But
Yeah. I
um,
mean, I definitely respect where they're at. It's just I just think that nobody was thinking the Cavs were gonna lose. And so it was a wake up call, like, oh, I need to pay attention to the Pacers. Like the boys is actually they ready.
yeah. They got some guys though, man. The Pacers got some guys out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, just real quick before we go, do you ever pay attention to the Met Gala?
I don't. I will say this. I know, like I saw Three Stacks had the piano on his back, and I saw oh boy who's in talks of being T'Challa. I saw somebody he had a helmet on, and then they ripped something, and he had a suit on underneath, and then took his helmet off. So I saw some like those were the only 2 things that I saw. I know people do stuff, and they have themes, right? So
I'm assuming that everybody's hella extra,
oh, it's
so they
very
do have themes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this had to be something
Yeah.
like orchestra or something like I don't know.
And listen, you know what's funny though? This is the crazy thing. I could care less about the Met Gala. The only thing that is, it catches my eye personally now. This is gonna sound crazy, but it catches my eye now because I'm seeing more black folks show
Yeah,
up to it. That's my biggest thing. So it's like it's weird because don't get me wrong. Respectfully, I do look and see what everybody's wearing, right? But I guess there are times where I'm like looking and I'm like, okay, there like every year there's some black folks that are there that I'm like, wow, I wouldn't expect. Like I saw Stephon Diggs there, right? And I was wondering, like, was he there with the girl Cardi, right? And like when Andre 3000 was there, I didn't expect for him to be there, but then let alone the outfit, right? So I think that's what I'm always surprised about, though, man, is that, let's say the art part of it, that's the part that's for interpretation. So I'm not going to be too mad at anybody's outfits, but I think that the part that I check for because I start to see more of us there than what I've seen in the past years, though, man.
right.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
was something I
yeah.
was gonna ask you for. Oh, before we go, are you caught up on The Last of Us?
Yes.
Okay, we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about it before we get off. What you rate the episode?
Okay. The episode you talked, let's just make sure we're talking about the same thing because I think I am caught up.
The episode
This
we
is the
talking about is
episode when they
they
got to Seattle.
they are at Seattle. Jeffrey Wright was introduced.
Listen, Jeffrey Wright, love Jeffrey Wright in
Oh yeah,
everything he do.
absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 out of an episode. 8 out of 10 on a scale of 10. This is one thing I think that this part I didn't pay attention to. Okay, so what I didn't pay attention to this whole time is that she didn't tell her homegirl that she was immune, right? I think I never. I thought that surely they're friends. I thought she would have told her that. So that's one
Oh
thing, right? I think the part that this is the thing. I think the part that and maybe I don't know. I don't watch I never played the video game. But the part that started to like really make me like mad is their emphasis on making her the lesbian lovers though, bro. Like that
no. Let
that
me.
part, I'm like, I don't know if that's in the video
I'm
game
about
or
to say,
not.
let me shoot you some bail. That is a part of the game. That is
Okay,
very much a
so
storyline in the game.
okay, so but they're making it to where this is like a theme of it, and I think that's the part that I don't get. It's like,
Well,
all
okay,
right, you
so
know
like
what?
this,
It's
right?
emphasized.
Where they came from, they don't know anything about pride. That's why they was like,
I understood that. Yeah, I understood that because by the time that they were going through the apocalypse and everything like that, that was they
it
were
was that
little,
movie.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
So no, everything that you're seeing is pretty not game accurate because they're like even Jeffrey Wright's character. They changed how he was introduced than what was in the game, but essentially,
loved how he was introduced. By the
oh
way,
yeah, throwing the grenades in the back of the truck. Boom.
yeah,
So no. That is game accurate. The relationship between those two is game accurate. So yeah, they're playing it. Her playing the guitar, game accurate. Uh like all of that stuff is they're following it, man, pretty much. They just get to add a
okay,
little bit more because in the game, the emphasis on gameplay. So
yeah.
there are cutscenes, but they can't give as much backstory and stuff because you want to get back to killing the infected or whatever. So
It definitely. I'll tell you this though, man. I think that there are some parts that I think that stood out to me the most was, of course, when he saved the young boy that was with him and said, "Hey, make a choice," and he was like, "Hell, my choice already been made up." Then, right? So I thought that was one part that I thought was real dope, and I think that the part that I thought was real dope was them going through the subway. I thought that scene kind of reminded me very much of like a really good, intense oh man, Walking Dead, the one with Negan and Maggie, kind of had that same feel. Because the only difference is that on this one, it's almost like Negan kind of kicked Maggie back behind or whatever, and almost made it like she was going to die. But I think that them going through this railroad car subway car, I thought that had that feel. But I love the intensity of the chase. I like that um, I like that in this case. they're infected run, right? Like at some point in Walking Dead, the infected had been infected for so long that they were slower as you watch it. They were strengthened numbers, right? They had herds. But I think that it's interesting and it makes it more intense that their herds run and they go nonstop though, bro. So that's the part that I think that was real though. Those two things
Well,
stood out to me the most.
it had the centers effect to me because the game, I mean the show was just about them being in Minnesota, the different factions. Uh did I say Minnesota? I meant Seattle.
Seattle.
In Seattle, the different factions, like the gangs or whatever, like that. And they were just dealing with that. And then all of a sudden you hear the infected, like, oh shoot, I forgot all about that. Like that,
Right.
that was crazy. So yeah, but when the frying pan scene, bro.
The frying pan scene was something. I think that the part that I thought was real dope too is how she was listening and counting the number of infected. That was dope to me too, though, man. So yeah, I love the episode. It's a good way to, because on the last episode I thought that it was like the recon, like what we gonna do now that the boy Mando then died, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's like, all right, well, we back to that kind of we on that time though, man. So now I thought that was real cool though, man.
Oh yeah, it was definitely 8 out of 10 for me too.
Yeah.
I thought it was dope. So you heard it here first. The Slash Brothers got the Last of Us episode 4 as an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, man. Solid 8 out of 10.
Yes, sir.
It got me on the edge of a seat. Can't wait for the next one though, bro.
Me
Absolutely.
too. It brought it back to like, okay, this was that A+ show that we watched when season 1 was out, and it was an episode without Mando, like you said. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it though, man.
Yeah. All right, bro. Well, listen, from ATL to OKC, we are the Slash Brothers. We'll catch y'all on the next time. 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock ESP or EP, whatever it is, Eastern Time. And we out.
ESP.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Yep.